Welcome to You Can't Handle the Truth, the Voice First podcast for women over 40 who've outgrown silence, settled energy, and sugar-coated healing. Here, we say what you've been thinking and finally tell the truth your soul's been waiting to hear. I'm your host, Natalie, and every week we unpack healing, holy wisdom, generational rewrites, and grown woman discernment. This isn't your average feel-good podcast. This is where truth turns sacred, softness becomes power, and women rise with clarity. Because sis, if your intuition is speaking, you don't need permission to listen. You're not crazy. You're just finally clear. You've been reading energy longer than they've been playing games. We are in for another doozy today. I keep bringing these conversations from subreddit to you because a lot of these things that have gone on in our lives are the things that keep us small. And this one's about gang stalking. And I don't know if you've heard that term before, but gang stalking is when you have a friend or a family member that wants you to do something, or maybe you do something that they don't like, and then they go to other family members or other friends and they proceed to talk about you, and then you start getting calls and texts from other family members to shame you because you're not going along with the program. And this type of behavior starts when you're young. A lot of times this happens in families, and it's a way to make sure that you stay aligned with what the family unit believes is how you should behave, how you should act, how you should perform around them. When you start to be authentic and show your ass, so to speak, and just be yourself, and that self that you are being or you are becoming doesn't align with that, you will find yourself being gang stalked and having calls from other family members or other friends saying like, how could you do that? You shouldn't do that. That's not how it's done. That's not how things are done. And so we're going to read this subreddit together. I started reading it and I was like, yes, let's come here and talk to my ladies, because I am sure many of you have experienced this. And it's one of the things that makes it hard for you to step out into your authentic self, because you may not have the same beliefs as someone else in your family. Your beliefs may start to differ from your friend groups that you were in. And so these tactics are used to make sure that they realign you and keep you and remind you that, hey, this is not how we think. So the group think, right? This is not how we think. This is not how we do. This is not how we behave. To stop you from drawing your own conclusions and making your own decisions. Now, I'm going to read you the story, and it starts off with, am I the asshole for refusing to wake up my husband when my parents visited and then kick them out when they insisted? Now, you would think, like, why would you kick your parents out? Why would you kick a family member out of your house? Well, let's read on. My husband and I have been married for 5 years now, and we are both 29 years old. The last 3 weeks, due to a complete screw up in a department in the company my husband works for, it has been all hands on deck for my husband and his team to resolve the issues. My husband has been working 18 hours a day, and even some days not even coming home, working through the entire night and into the next day. I don't know much about the issue exactly, but what I do know is that if they do not resolve the issue, it will be a $50 million loss for the company. The issues are not the result of my husband or anyone in his team, but they are the ones that have to fix the issue. So that's just a little background about what's going on with her husband. So he's not sleeping. He's up all night and they have to resolve this issue. I can see the exhaustion on his face when he comes in at 2 to 3 in the morning, when I'm awake, and leaves at 7 again. So he comes in at 2 to 3 and then he's out at 7 again to do it all over again. I try my best to keep as much as possible off his plate at home until he could get this issue resolved, which makes sense, right? Because he's like, hey, he's busy at work. He can't do anything else like right now because he's got to fix this issue. Before this, he had been nothing but supportive and helpful around the house. When he comes home, he eats, showers, and goes straight to bed. I have found him some nights literally sleeping at the table. while he was busy eating when I went down to check on him because he was so tired and couldn't even make it to bed. So he fell asleep eating at the table. Okay. With that said, 2 nights back, he got home around midnight, which is late, but was a little earlier from when he normally gets back. And I thought something had happened because he looked like a ghost. But through his exhaustion, he gave me this massive smile and said they did it and everything is done. He told me the boss gave them each a couple of days off and he only needs to be back in the office next week on Tuesday. He ate dinner, took a shower, and got into bed. Thank God. Like, issue's over, right? I'm literally going through this because it sounds like this is a lot of background, right? You could see how tired her husband was. I got up the next morning around 9 and made breakfast. I thought about waking up my husband, but didn't and let him sleep. And then around 12, my parents visited me. I normally work from home and they do visit from time to time, seeing as I'm 6 months pregnant as well. I greeted them and we sat down and had coffee. Around 30 minutes into their visit, they asked me where my husband was because they saw his truck in the driveway. I told them he was sleeping. My mother gave me a look and said, "It's unacceptable for my husband to still be sleeping past 12, especially with a pregnant wife. I should wake him up." Wait a minute. This man is exhausted. You are visiting. I'm telling you he's sleeping and now you want me to wake him up because you're here to visit. Okay, let's go. I told them no and to leave it and explain the full situation of what had happened over the last 3 weeks to them. They didn't budge and insisted I wake my husband up. Apparently, it's not right for him to sleep in with a pregnant wife. It went as far as my mother standing up and saying if I wouldn't do it, then she will go and wake him up. Oh, no. Oh, no. No, that is a no. That's definitely a no. So, with that said, I stood up and blocked my mother from going up the stairs and told my parents if they find it so wrong for my husband to get proper sleep after 3 weeks of barely any sleep, they should leave our house because I will not and I refuse to let them wake him up as well. I told them I will let my husband sleep until he wakes up himself. I will not disturb him and I will not allow anyone else to disturb him. I think that's right. Who says this man, why does he have to get up? Who decided that? Who made them the authority on how they decide to run their household, first of all, and second of all, on whether or not this man gets to sleep? Like, I don't understand it. This is feeling like very almost like an entitled kind of feeling, right? That's what I'm getting from this, like entitlement. Like, I can come in and I can run your household. I'm telling you this is the way it goes and you cannot deviate from that. Crazy. So they asked if I'm kicking them out and I said yes. If they can't respect my request to leave my husband alone and let him sleep, they are no longer welcome. Well, yeah. I mean, if you're just going to sit here until you can wake him up, then you have to go because we're not waking him up. That's what's happening here right now. We're not waking him up. If you're not happy about it, if you're going to insist, I'm not going to fight with you, right? But then you're going to have to leave. I'm not going to argue and fight with you over this for the next hour. It's not up for discussion. He's sleeping. I agree that he needs some sleep right now. I'm not waking him up and I'm not going to allow anyone else to wake him up. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about this. I mean, it seems like a pretty easy, valid request to me. Around 3 p.m., I got bombarded with texts from other family members berating me for kicking my parents out of the house. Even my sister and brother berating me for doing it, telling me I'm the a-hole for kicking them out for just trying to help. What were they helping with? What exactly? Like, am I missing something? Because I don't think they were helping. I think they were adding stress to her situation. She's pregnant. It's been already stressful. Her husband was working and he's finally home and able to get some sleep. And now you're going to tell her to wake him up. So you can do what? So you can berate him for sleeping in? No, you do have to leave. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. You have to leave. Even after I explained the situation, some family members are still on my parents' side saying I overreacted by kicking them out because they were only looking out for my safety and seeing as I'm pregnant. See, no. See, this is what people do. I don't agree. See, now they're gonna make it your fault. I forget what it's called. There's a name for that. But they turn it back on you. What's happening here is they're masking their bad behavior with concern for you. Even though they know, I would imagine they have to know deep down, like it's wrong. Like, why are you at my house telling me to wake up my husband? And I told you no, and then you're gonna insist and then berate him for sleeping too long because I'm pregnant, as if they're trying to help. And now you have the gang stalking part, is the fact that the family members are now calling also. Now we've gotten other people involved. And drop me a comment if this has ever happened to you. Like, I have a situation like that not that long ago where something similar happened. I may not call it out, but I see it for what it is, and I will keep my distance because I don't subscribe to gang stalking. If I have an issue with you, or you know that there is an issue, and now you go and you involve other family members, and then now other family members are calling me out. There was an issue, and and another family member knew there was an issue, right? And so then they went to another family member and made it an issue with them. But I didn't share it with the other family member. They went and shared it. And then when that family member saw me, they literally like cornered me and told me that I was wrong, that I was hurting the family, and I was doing all of this. And here's the thing, this is unacceptable to me. Unacceptable, because I'm not a child. I can make a decision about what I want, and then you don't get to hide behind the fact like you were just trying to help. Everyone who's an adult knows that this is not a helpful way to deal with things. If somehow I have an issue with you, or I have an issue with someone, that issue should be resolved with that person. And if it's not resolvable with that person, it is what it is. Like, we don't get to involve 10 or 12 other people to go and make someone else feel small for making a decision that they've made. Because first of all, I'm not going to feel small. I'm going to stand my ground. Now I'm going to know where I stand with all the parties involved, right? Because I understand that my autonomy is not respected. My ability to make my autonomous decision for myself, right? Because I'm a very sovereign person. We're all sovereign. We have autonomy in the decisions that we make for ourselves. And not everyone may agree, and that's fine. But you don't get to put me in a position where like the whole family is jumping down my back, because no, that's wrong in so many ways. And if you're a psychologist or someone, drop a comment down below and let me know what you think about this. And maybe you have a name for it. I'm not a psychologist, but I'm bringing this here because I know that many of us experience this, and that whole masking the bad behavior with like, oh, I'm helping you, I was doing this to help you, is a way to keep you quiet, because it's confusing, right? As you step into your authenticity, if this is something that you've experienced, these are situations that you may find yourself in, and that you will have to stand your ground. The whole purpose of gang stalking is that it's like, instead of being one-to-one, one person, one-to-one, like you're having a conversation, now it's you against the world. Right? And then, so eventually you just have to shut up and give in. That's the expectation. That's the reason it's done, is to get you to shut up. So again, it takes your voice away. It takes your autonomy away, because now you just have to go with the groupthink. You have to go with what everybody else says, and you're made out to be wrong about something that you should never be wrong about. Like, it's not wrong to feel a type of way. It's not wrong to make a decision that for yourself that feels good to you. That's not wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is when someone comes to you and tells you that the decision that you've made for yourself in the moment, and it could not be permanent, right? It might be in the moment that you're making a decision. It could be permanent also. But for someone to come and tell you that the decision that you're making for yourself is not the one for you, and then to bring in like, I don't know, what are we having, an intervention? I mean, I know sometimes you do have to have an intervention, but I'm not hurting myself and I'm not hurting anyone else. Yeah, let's see what they have to say here. And then she goes on to say, unfortunately, I have a family that is somewhat close and loves to talk. Secrets don't stay secrets in this family for long, especially with my aunt and cousins that can't keep anything to themselves. As soon as they know something, everyone else has to know it as well. I say this all the time. Stop telling people your business. I don't care if it's family. Stop telling them your business, because first of all, when I tell you something, if it's a secret, and I tell someone and it's supposed to be between me and you, even in this situation, that like her mom has betrayed her trust, right? Like her mom went and complained to other family members to get them on their side, probably because she knew she was wrong. But then she went and she turned and twisted it and put it in a way that probably got everybody on her side. And then now everybody is calling you or calling her to blame her for her reaction to the situation. I think that it's not acceptable. Secrets don't stay secrets. Like, yeah. And you know what's really interesting about that comment, that secrets don't stay secrets? I bet you if her mom has something that she wants to keep a secret, she'll keep it a secret. Because guess what? Because she knows and she won't tell anybody in the family. Someone says, tell your parents if they ever involve other people that way, the way they did this time, they will not be meeting their grandkid. Now, I don't know. I think that's extreme. But I mean, I think you have to set a boundary. Like, yeah, we have to let people know that it's not acceptable that if I have a situation that it's my situation and I didn't involve other people, how dare you? How dare you involve other people? Now you went and spoke to other people. And not only that, now those people are calling me. I will block everybody. Everybody will be blocked off the list at that point. Someone else says, refuse to discuss it with others. They weren't involved and their opinion isn't welcome. Exactly. Like, it's not up for discussion. So the people calling and talking, it's like, no, I'm sorry. We're not having, were you here? Bye. You're calling about what? None of your business. Exactly. It's none your business. It's not your business. Stay out of it. Be firm. Less problems later. Folding at this point will make them worse. Exactly, because when you fold at this point, people will see that you folded, and the next time they know that all they have to do is gang stalk you. They just gotta bring the family in, bring in the cavalry to make you change your mind and to make you do whatever it is that they want you to do. Or maybe the whole idea is to just shame you and make you feel bad so that you can do exactly what it is they want you to do. This sucks. This really sucks. I think this sucks. And I think a lot of us who struggle to step into our authentic selves have dealt with this. And the problem is that this silences you. This makes you doubt your own intuition and your own gut response to situations, because now you're no longer listening to your higher self. You can't even hear yourself because you've got groups of people around you telling you what you should think and how you should be and how you should feel and how you should react. And there's a breach of trust. Her mom went to her house, had a private conversation with her. She didn't call her whole family and say, oh, my mom was just here and complaining that her mom was trying to force her to wake up her husband. She didn't do that. But her mom breached her confidence and her trust in her household. And she could have called her later and said, I really feel bad about what happened. I think it was a bit excessive that you asked me to leave. But also, what argument does she have? Because her stance while she was at their house was that she was going to make it a point to go wake him up, which is unacceptable. You can't come to my house and wake up my husband. You cannot. I don't care who you are. You cannot come to my house and wake up my husband. If I tell you he's sleeping, he is sleeping. Be respectful. There's a boundary there. You don't get to overstep that boundary. Somebody said, if she doesn't nip this in the bud now, this woman's pregnant. Listen to this. And listen for those of you out there who've dealt with this, and let me know what you think. This woman's pregnant, and someone says, so in a few months, these grandparents will be running around indignantly when their commands are being blatantly ignored, especially when the baby's here. So they're going to come in, they're going to command how she should be with the baby, how he should be with the baby. And then when their commands are ignored, they're going to run to other family members to call me. No, I will block everybody's phone number. Everyone will be blocked. Everyone will get blocked. You know. When people are having, no, this is so unacceptable. The problem is she isn't doing what they want when they want it. They had no good reason for the demand to wake up her husband. Even if he wasn't working 18-hour shift, they don't get to unilaterally show up to someone else's house and take over. Exactly. It's like a hostile takeover. Like, you come to my house, and just because you're there now, you're visiting me, you're an elder of some type, or you've deemed yourself an elder of some type, which is fine, but now you're gonna come in and dictate how I run my household. You do not. It's unacceptable. I don't know how you guys feel about this. Maybe some of you don't feel this way, but I think it's unacceptable. I get the whole grandparent thing, right? I get that, like, coming in and, you know what, like, maybe giving advice. But if I say no, it's my house. I said no. That's not how we do it here, because just because that's how they did things when they were raising me, maybe I don't agree with those things. And so I want to do it differently. Maybe my husband doesn't agree with those things. Maybe he wants to do things differently. And we have agreed on how we're going to do things. So now you can't come in and make a unilateral decision without including us, where we are living, paying our bills and whatever, just living our lives, and then come in and decide that how we're supposed to live life according to you. That's unacceptable. My question to them would be, I want my child to grow up in a home where their boundaries are respected and we respect each other. Are you able to do that? If not, you won't be in my child's life. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know that it has to get to that point, but hey, there has to be boundaries. I keep talking about boundaries on this channel, and sometimes we have people in our lives that don't understand boundaries. They like it when you don't have boundaries, because they can do things like this. They can come into your house and then dictate how you should do things, that your way is the wrong way. Like, how is my way the wrong way in my house? How does somebody else get to come to my house and decide that? Or to decide you need to do this and you need to do that? I don't mind. You can come and you could give me tips. You can give me advice. I can listen and I can take the advice, or I cannot. Like, it's my choice. I get to take the advice that you're giving. I get to take your tips and decide whether or not it's something I want to incorporate. But you don't get to unilaterally come to my house, make a demand, and then be offended when I am not acquiescing to your demand. No. And then you want to guilt trip me and then gang stalk me, call the whole family and have the whole family calling me. No, you don't get to do that. And I mean, you get to do whatever you want to do, but I get to decide not to play in that game and to just like block everybody and be like, no, we're not talking about that. No. Or just not answer those phone calls. Seriously, what happens once baby's here? If baby is asleep when they come over to visit, are they going to insist that you wake up the baby too? I realize it's not quite the same situation, but still, it is the same situation. They want to see the baby. Maybe the baby hasn't slept all day. Maybe you're tired and you need a break from the baby, but now they come over and they're like, oh, you need to wake up the baby because I'm here. No, I don't. If it's okay with me and the baby's been sleeping for a while, I'll be more than happy to. But you don't get to come demand that I have to wake up the baby. I was about to say the exact same thing. I don't care how old you are, unless you set an alarm for a purpose. No one should wake anyone else. Our bodies need sleep uninterrupted, and they didn't even have a good excuse. Oh, there are so many responses here. And I'm reading these responses to you because I want you to know that you're not crazy. Right? When you're having these thoughts and you're just like, no, somebody's overstepping. They have overstepped their boundary, so that you know. Because, and everyone's saying she needs to set the boundary with her parents before the baby's born. Can you imagine? Like, grandparents love to dote over their grandkids, right? Like, so when they're doting over their grandkids, they're going to use their concern for their grandbaby to come in and just tell them how to run their lives in their house. There has to be a boundary. There has to be where there has to be a line that they can't cross, that people can't cross when they come to your house. right? That people can't cross once it comes to your life because you are an adult. Everybody's saying like set boundaries now before the baby comes. Someone says they're just throwing flying monkeys. Yeah, they're using the whole "I'm concerned about you" thing to come in and take over your household. No, your concern about me doesn't allow you to take over my household. You can state your concern, right? And then I get to decide whether or not it's a concern or not, and how I'm going to deal with that if I need to deal with that. Just because it's a concern for you, it may not be a concern for me at the time. Someone says, actually, it's a worse situation. There's nothing worse than waking a peacefully sleeping baby just because we came to see the baby. Look, don't touch. When all the guests leave, the baby is wound up, frustrated, and takes ages to go back to sleep. Well, the baby's not here yet, but I guess that's what she has to look forward to if she doesn't set boundaries. Someone says the level of disrespect this mother has for her daughter, the husband, and their entire relationship is astounding. Sleep deprivation is considered a method of torture. Send a mass text to mom and the flying monkeys. Oh, the flying monkeys are the herd that they call, like all the people they call the gang stalkers, the people that were calling her to tell her that she's the a-hole, for asking her mother to leave and not wake up her if she can't respect her and not wake up her husband. Send a mass text to mom and the flying monkeys and anyone who supports torturing your husband will be people you start to spend less time with. Yeah, that's how that goes. You have to set a boundary. If they really feel this way, right, and they feel like they can just come in and take over, then you're going to have to set a boundary that you're going to spend less time with them, because every time they come into your life, they're going to be trying to take over your life. It's not acceptable. It's actually very disrespectful. In the text that she sends to the flying monkeys and her mom, she says, also in the future, please refrain from feeling like you have a say of what I do in my home, unless you want me to start involving others in yours. No requests, no polite wording. Just straightforward. Exactly. Just straightforward. Why are you coming to my home and then involving others? No, you don't get to do that. Someone else says, absolutely. When my mom tries to drag me into sibling drama, I just tell her this situation involves two adults, neither of which are you. So mind your business. She hates it, but it works. Maybe you could adopt that to your siblings. This is between mom, dad, and I. Mind your business. Exactly. If my mom has a disagreement with my brother, I am not calling my brother to tell him that he's wrong or that he needs to agree with her. I'm not doing it. And neither will he do it to me. And if he did, I would tell him exactly that. This wasn't between you and her. I got this. Seriously, if they're so damn quick to disregard her authority in her own home with her marriage, just imagine them as grandparents watching this baby. They need a timeout. Exactly this. OP's husband is clearly running on fumes and her parents acted like a nap was a personal insult. Boundaries exist for a reason, especially when someone's health is on the line. A good on her for standing up for him. Yes, of course he needed to sleep. There's a health issue here. And maybe there were other catalysts for this, because I'm sure if they were this adamant that they came in and they demanded this, I'm sure they've made other smaller demand that led up to them feeling quite comfortable that they could just come to her house and completely disregard her, disregard her husband, disregard her household, and just say no, we're going to take over, and we've decided that he doesn't get to sleep. We're going to wake him up. You guys drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. The complete disregard, emotional disregard, right? What happens when she's tired, right? And she needs a break, right? When she's completely exhausted and she needs a break from the baby, and then they come over and the husband's watching the baby, what are they going to tell him? Go wake her up. She's the baby's mom. She doesn't deserve to get sleep. She needs to be with the baby. That's not what moms do. Listen, there's a lot going on here, and they just overstepped. They overstepped the boundary. And I think that when we have households, we have a spouse, we have to remember that in the household that we have to protect each other. And sometimes it's crazy because you're protecting each other from family. And it's not like in a bad way. It's just that you are protecting the sanctity of your home. You are protecting the boundaries of your home, and you're protecting the boundaries that you together have set for your home and the rules that you've set in your house. And certain things are just not acceptable, no matter who it is. In this case, it was her mom and her dad. You know what's really interesting though, is that this whole time she says her mom was ranting and her dad was in the background just going along. So like I said before, like he just went along with it, and he doesn't sound like he had too much to say. And the mom is the one that called all the flying monkeys to come in and join in and get on her side and call her daughter and tell her that how dare she ask her mom to leave and not wake up her husband. Oh, we're just trying to help. No, you're not helping. He needed some sleep. I was quite okay sitting in the kitchen with you drinking coffee. Like we were good until you decided that you wanted to do a hostile takeover. So anyway, so all this to say, I bring this to you because many times these are the things that happen. These are the covert, so to speak, overt things that happen in families that keep us playing small, that keep us from setting our boundaries. Flying monkeys. This is enough to drive anyone crazy if you're not really strong in your boundary and you don't understand where your boundary is. You have like 10 people calling you, telling you, oh my gosh, you're so terrible. You hurt mom's feelings. You did this, like you hurt that person's feelings. Meanwhile, no one had any consideration or respect for your feelings or for this woman's feelings. They didn't care how tired he was. They just knew what they wanted, and they wanted it now. Listen, drop me a comment. I'll be back. Hit that subscribe button. Drop me a heart so you can show me some love, because I am here showing you love, because you and I together are gonna step into our authenticity, and we're going to retrieve all those parts of us that got lost when they told us we had to shrink, because we are not shrinking around here anymore. All right. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next one.